What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and we are ramping up here with our post-draft content on the channel. The first of that being an in-depth look here at George Pickens, the Pittsburgh Steelers' second-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, and whether or not he could potentially be the wide receiver one for them. And really what this video is going to do, we're going to in-depth look. We're going to look at obviously kind of this mini scouting report that we kind of put out during the live stream, go through some film, and then we'll kind of really talk projection, fit, and really hammer home whether or not George Pickens has that wide receiver one upside in this offense. So first things first, we'll show up the graphic here that we showed of George Pickens. It'll be on the screen. Obviously, at 6'3", 195, he's in that X type of tier at receiver. He has that phenomenal upside, and really it's all flashes with him right now. Good athlete, but obviously does really well positioning at the catch point. He gets in a great spot for him to make the play at the catch point. He's a ball winner with great hands, impressive body control, and obviously a phenomenal catch radius. He can make plays well outside of his frame as well. Gives you a little bit of an extra strike zone for quarterbacks. Now, obviously, there's flashes, and right, it's all about route running, getting into the blind spot, sinking his hips, getting out of breaks quickly, and the flashes after the catch too, with how flexible and how quick he can be in the short area, right? But it's all about that consistency and a little bit of maturity. Now, Pittsburgh, obviously, we often talk about that being a good situation for young receivers, and Pittsburgh has done very, very well developing receivers, right? But we got to talk about, where that consistency lies. So now we're going to kind of dive into the film here, kind of look at what George Pickens does well on tape, and then we'll get into the projection. All right, now we get into the film room here for George Pickens. So we're going to go all the way back to his freshman season for a few of these clips, starting here against Baylor. And really, it isn't about the route here. It's about the footwork, and see how he positions his foot really well here to kind of, and get his weight moving as well to go to the outside and take advantage of the defender that's kind of head up on him or even leaning inside to maximize where he can pick up after the catch. Unfortunately, he kind of misses that opportunity because he stumbles a little bit, but it shows you that ability to catch to transition, a very important part of playing receiver. Now you're going to get here a really nice play because he's about even. Quarterback's already thrown the ball, so he's even here. Quarterback's looking for this back shoulder, and again, it's about positioning himself. Go up and get the football, high point it, and make a great play on the ball. He always makes really good plays on the ball at the catch point. That's not something you really have to worry about with him. Again, good release here. He's working the speed. He's able to kind of stack. He's in good position to make this play over his shoulder, right in the bucket, and able to sneak in there for a touchdown. Now, one of my favorite ones is this defender's kind of creeping. He's really trying to carry him up the seam, and they believe that's where he's going to be going, especially this defender anyway. So defender's kind of reaching out. So he's going to be trying to play trail technique to kind of squeeze this guy with the safety and squeeze Pickens. You see him kind of whiff, and Pickens runs this blaze out here, wide open. Defender's way lost, and you see him make a leaping attempt there at the end. Here's a fun one after the catch, and this is where, again, he's in transition already. Ball's there. See the ankle flexion. He's already moving well before really the defenders are set up. And again, look at that. Make that defender miss. And he picks up a lot there in space. Now, again, pretty simple here. Gain ground, stop, still keep your head at the defensive back. He's playing a little bit outside. He's going to give you the inside, so why not take it? And again, look how his foot is planted and he's ready to explode upfield after the catch. Makes Stingley miss with that tackle attempt, and he gets upfield really well. Okay, broken play here. You know you're going to get a free play off sides. Doesn't matter. They're going at Pickens, Stingley in coverage. It's a great throw, but look at the footwork. Look at the body control to hang on and make a great play near the sideline. Again, this is more freshman stuff against Stingley. Look at how flexible, burst. Look at him create space for himself, and then we're going way up to get this football at the catch point, show off that catch radius. This is one of my favorites. There's no doubt about it. Against Alabama, going to see him re-stem back to the inside. Defender's already in speed turn carry in hurry-up mode to kind of recover at this point, and he's thinking, okay, vertical, got to defend that. Pickens gets low, snaps this off. There's a lot of space here for Pickens to work. To make it worse for him, spins out of the tackle attempt, too, with a corner and coverage. Again, picking up yardage after the catch. Here's another one of the blind spot, and it's even honestly better than the first rep here. So the corner's coming on a blitz. So safety's got to come over and get Pickens one-on-one. So Pickens knows, okay, I have outside leverage. I'm going to try and stem back into this guy's blind spot to make him turn. He'll open up the other way, and I'm going to create separation downfield. That's exactly what it does. Look at that. It's near instant, and I'm going to back it up so we can get the, okay, there you go. Foot's planted. See the defender turning. Defender's turning because he stemmed inside towards the middle of the field. Defender's lost now. Pickens stumbles a little bit, but has enough deep speed and makes a heck of a catch. You're going to see the catch. Don't worry about it on this next clip here, just to show you the play he makes. Lays out for that ball. What a catch by Pickens. So down here, similar thing here. We're going to work on this vertical plane. What's really important, and I know it's hard to see, I apologize, but what's important is gearing down to create space for yourself. That's the big thing there. Sinking the hips, gear down, and create space coming back to the football on the vertical plane. So similar thing here again. It's about positioning at the catch point. You're even with this defender right now. Ball's coming, kind of use your hands to position yourself at the catch point and make that play in the air. This was actually from the SEC title game this past season. And again, this is in the national championship. He's down in the corner here. What you're going to get is, again, look at the head looking outside just a little bit. It's the subtlety there. Head still looking outside. So the defender's kind of thinking, okay, I got to run with him. Again, flexibility, burst, ability to win downfield. Great catch here, obviously, over the shoulder. And look at that. Tucks it away, bracing at the ground for impact. Makes that look so easy. So now to really the most important part of this is the ability to kind of translate all these skills, the potential, the flashes, everything. Can he be a wide receiver one in Pittsburgh? Maybe. And I'm going to caution, maybe go look back at this. Where did George Pickens win a lot of the time in these clips? A lot of these times were the highlights, but still, where did he win a lot in this? It was on the vertical plane, right? You see him winning down the field on go routes. You see him winning on the hitch routes. A lot of what he did was on the vertical plane. That's what Georgia asked him to do. He wasn't asked to be the guy who's running intermediate digs or stuff really over the middle of the field. He wasn't asked to do that. Kirby Smart, Georgia, Monken, all these guys limited the route tree. Now, why did they do that? Maybe because they didn't trust him with the full route tree and they wanted to utilize the skill set, the length, the catch radius, the ball skills, the vertical presence, all to take advantage of that skill set and work it into their offense. Now, does that mean they didn't trust him to be the wide receiver one? Potentially, but they gave him the role and he succeeded in it. Now, for Pittsburgh, this is kind of a really nice situation you're in, right? Because you have Deontay Johnson. That's kind of your de facto X. That's your wide receiver one, right? Because he's an easy separator. He can do everything in the line of scrimmage. Win at all three levels. So it gives George Pickens the opportunity to be a Z on your team, at least at the start, right? Again, good culture. Hopefully you bring him along, you develop him, you work on the maturity stuff, and you build consistency. So how do you build that consistency? Well, what you're going to do for him, right, is you're kind of going to give him what you want Chase Claypool to be. You want Chase Claypool to be the vertical receiver, the ball winner. George Pickens is going to be that now, right, in your offense, and you can give him that to start with. But I think the wide receiver coach needs to be heavy on building the route tree for him, because if you build the route tree, you hone in those skills he has as a route runner, the ability to get in the blind spot, to work with his head and shoulders, to kind of move DBs where he wants them to be and give himself that extra space. Like, it's all there, right? And I also, one thing on the blocking too, you see the highlights of him launching at guys, blocking, doing that stuff, putting them on the ground. Honestly, the consistency as a blocker is really not there. There's a lot of whiffs, a lot of lunging that results in no sustainment in blocks. So that's one thing. But quickly back to the projection, like, you're going to give him that role early on, and you hope all the flashes can build you into a wide receiver one, right? And this also gives you that flexibility. Okay, we can put Chase Claypool back in the slot where he works out the best because he's got the yak skills and all that. Doesn't have to face press, doesn't have to, win as really a true route runner. He can work against space and manipulate it, right? So you give him that space to work with. So can George Pickens be the wide receiver one in your offense? Possibly. It's certainly possible. I don't know. It's still up in the air. I think there's a chance, but again, if not, really, the expectations shouldn't be super high right now, right? Even though, again, he's a second-round pick, you want to make an impact. I think he can on the vertical plane, right? But you don't have to have those ridiculously high expectations of needs to be wide receiver one in our offense if you had, say, taken him at 20, right? You didn't take him at 20. You took your quarterback of the future. Instead, now you get a guy who can be a really, really good wide receiver too on that vertical plane. Give him those opportunities to win after the catch, win on the comeback routes and all that stuff while he's honing his craft to be, work as the dig routes, work slant routes, be a little bit more flexible in the route tree. So maybe you don't have to pay Deontay Johnson when that comes up very, very soon, right at the end of this year. So who knows what Pittsburgh's going to have in store for him. Like I said, though, I think the wide receiver 1 potential is there. It's going to take some time, though. It's not going to be right away. He can make an impact right away. Not the same thing as being a wide receiver 1. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, especially this last projection part. This was a fun thing to work through. There's a lot more post-draft content coming on the channel with probably film rooms. Going to try and get a full grades out there as well. So stay tuned for that. Throw a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next video. Farewell.